Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to look at today is the consistent release throughout the bag. For me, one of my coaching ideas is I feel the swing should be pretty consistent from club to club and it shouldn't change. And we did a video a little while ago expressing this, and we showed some ideas and techniques, and we'll put that video, another link to that video, so you can look at that a little bit more in depth. But what we've done today is we've come across a teaching aid called HackMotion. And what it's going to do for us today is we're going to see, am I doing a consistent movement in the swing? Really what we're feeling is, am I keeping the wrist cock here correct on the way down and then releasing it correctly at the ball? And what I want to see is, am I doing it consistently with every club? Now for me, the biggest thing in golf, the more you understand something, the more you feel you're achieving what you want to achieve, the chances are you will get results and you will get the confidence in yourself to believe, well, I can do it, so let's do it again. And this is just an added extra. If I'm seeing the ball fly away, I've got to have the confidence to believe it is doing what I want it to do. If I can now back it up with technology, then that's got to be a good thing. So that's sort of a double whammy in a sense in my mind, that I'm getting two things that are confirming what's going on. Ultimately, the result of the shot is still the biggest thing, but if I can now get some confirmation that I'm doing it technically right, that will only give me confidence. So what we're going to do today, we're going to hit 3 clubs. We're going to hit a couple of balls with each club. We get some data. There's lots of data we can pick up. And let's explain what HackMotion is. HackMotion is this little sensor that's going to sit on my forearm and the top of my hand. And it has 2 sensors and then this wire running through that. And it's picking up everything to do with movement in my wrist as I go through it. Whether that's, the expression you might use is sort of bowing or cupping the wrist, or cocking and uncocking the wrist as we go through. And it will allow me to see whether I'm doing that correctly. And as I look at it, my phone's on the ground there, and as I move it, it's telling me every degree I'm moving, positive and negative, with that wrist. It's a very clever bit of kit for me. I like this, okay? So as I said, I'm using it just to confirm what I'm setting out to do. So we're going to hit some shots. We're going to hit shot with my wedge to start. We'll hit 2 shots with my wedge. We'll look at the data, and then we'll go from there. So let's play a couple of shots. Okay, and in my mind, throughout all of these shots, let's pick that up nicely, so that's good, is I'm not going to change what I'm doing mentally. My golf swing always feels, effort-wise, should be around about 80% effort to get my full result. And I feel by putting that 80% effort in, what I generate then is more coordination and everything's nicely coming together to strike the ball. Take that shot every day of the week. That was a nice wedge straight up the practice ground. Hit another one, and then we'll have a little look at the data that we've got, and then we'll see if I can do that in a 7-iron and a hybrid as well. Okay, so that's 2 shots away, and let's just grab my phone and we'll have a little look at some of the data. So let's look at the shot data that we've got there. So what it does, it picks up lots of information. It picks up your address position, what you're doing in your takeaway with your wrist, the plane of your swing, what we call the flexion, which is that sort of bowing and cupping of the wrist, extension of the wrist, whether that's working, as we said, cocking and uncocking, and it gives you a sort of a breakdown. We'll put this on the screen for you to show you what it is. Now, very rarely, I've used this now a little while, it will give you 3 color codes. It will basically say, as I said, this should be up on the screen now, showing you my swing, and they're all green. It's all basically saying this is all good. But what I'm interested in looking at is what we would call the club and arm angle on the downswing, and then I'm going to look at my impact position. And what we're looking at here is the angle that I've created in that position as I get here. So what we're looking at here is, if that was, say, that would be a right angle, it would be 90 degrees. We're looking for an angle a little bit to be more this way, of around about anything really between 100 to 125 would be good. Okay, what I'm getting is around about 101. So I'm in the area, it's in the range, it likes that. Okay, we'll look at the first shot and see what it said about that. And I was 102. Okay, so it liked that range, I'm absolutely fine on that. If we then look at the last shot again, and we're going to look at the impact position, and this is working more on, am I slightly bowed with the wrist as I come into it? We're looking for an angle anywhere between -10, which would be a situation where I'm coming in and that would be a little bit bowed, to remember when you start, you probably are fractionally cupped. You can be as much as 15 degrees that way. And I was 6 degrees that way. So again, I'm in the range that they want me to be. Okay, and we'll just look at the first shot just to see if that's similar. I was +7. Okay, and the two balls went away nicely. So what we can see with the pitching wedge, I'm hitting the numbers they want me to hit, and they're in their range. But more importantly, the two shots were consistent and the results were good. Okay, well, that was the wedge. Let's get rid of the phone. And let's see, as I said, mentally, I'm not going to change a thing. And I'm now going to hit 2 7-irons. Okay, see if anything changes there and get the results that we get. So again, we'll do 2 shots. And all this data will go up on the screen. But as I said, all I'm looking for, I feel I'm doing the same thing. Can I create the consistency? Okay, so that's flown away. Again, nicely, I'm happy with the shot. But what I want to see is whether or not, well, it's interesting what it's come up with there. So we'll look at that in a minute. Good. So 2 nice shots again. Happy with them. Let's get rid of the club. Let's see what the data gave us. Okay, so let's look at the second shot there. And we're looking at that club angle. And we were 101, 102 roughly with the wedge. We're 101 with the 7-iron. Okay, now I did notice on the first of those 2 7-irons, it said I was fractionally casting. Okay, but I'm still, it said I needed to be 102 or less, and I was 103. So 1 degree. Okay, that's all it's saying. So I'm still, it's 1 degree out. I'm not going to look at that and go, I'm going to beat myself up about it, because the next shot was actually very good. Okay, my impact position was around about, what do we say, +5, +6 or so with the wedge. It's +8. Still in the area with my 7-iron. That was the first shot, and the second shot still within the area, around about +10. So still good. Quite happy with that. So what I'm happy with so far with those 2 clubs, there is consistency to what I'm doing. All right, the computer, it wants you to get better. It did say that I was slightly out on that first one with the 7. But pretty much that angle that I'm generating here is around about that 100 to 102 degrees consistently. Now let's see what happens when I hit my hybrid. Same thoughts, not changing a thing. That's the whole idea of this lesson, the whole idea of this video. Consistent thoughts, so 80%, let it happen, see what we get. Okay, well, so I'm going to be honest, I totally fatted that. That was an awful goal shot. Okay, it'll be interesting to see, before I play the next one, what did it pick up on that? Shot 5, let's just bring that up. And even though I hit it a little bit fat, the range was good. If anything, I kept the angle there, 111 degrees as I was coming down, and again it said it light, so it was slightly greater the angle there as I'm coming down. So if I've probably done anything, I have slightly released that angle a little bit earlier. Okay, but it still says I'm within their target range. That's okay. So what's interesting, have I, because I think, oh, it's a hybrid, I need to move the club a little bit quicker, have I gone a little bit early? The results suggested yes. Okay, so I'd look at that and think, well, if I can keep that closer to the 100, 102, which is what I was doing with the wedge and the 7, which they were much better strikes. So what that computer was telling me there, I was a little bit more that way. And that would suggest what happened as I came into the ball. So I just want to maintain that angle. Let's hit one more. Again, not going to change the thought, even though I've hit a poor shot. I'm not going to change the idea. I'm going to trust what I did with the shots. Okay. And that was a much better shot as we went through. As it's come up, it says it's good. Okay, but again, how was the ball strike? That was okay. I'm not going to knock that. So again, it has suggested, and this is what's interesting, and if I'm really, really honest, it did feel on both of those shots, maybe because I was in front of the camera, I did try to hit them a little bit harder. And whereas the angle there was more there with my wedge and my 7, it was a little bit there with the hybrid. So again, it shows, I would call that a sort of a sensation of a little bit of casting. Computer here saying it's in range, it's okay. But that's probably why it wasn't the perfect strike. It's definitely not as good as what I would say was happening. Now what was interesting then even though I'd got rid of that angle earlier, when I got to the ball, my impact position, I would say, was a little bit better. I was actually slightly having a slight lean of the shaft as I hit the ball, okay? But yeah, I mean, we'll put all this data on the screen for you through the video. It's showing you really the consistency. That's the whole idea of this video. And this is where something like HackMotion for me is very, very good, because it's simple, it's lightweight, it sits on your wrist, and it just picks up all this information very, very easily. And for me, the idea of this video is, am I doing it consistently? If I'm honest, my iron shots, my wedge, my 7-iron were really good, but for some reason today, I was a little bit quicker there. So if I was working on this, go to the practice ground, I'd say, look, just need to be a little bit softer there. It feels like I'm trying to hit it, maybe trying to show off a little bit in front of the camera. I hope you've enjoyed that lesson, okay, using HackMotion. The key thing from it, what I want you to learn, is if you can keep the consistency in your mind, it shouldn't change from a wedge to a 7 to a hybrid to whatever club you're using. If you do, you're going to see some consistent results, and that's what we're looking for. If you have enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon.